welcome to the second day. I have some announcement. I will be doing this Into the Cave um, course, and that one will start on Monday, and that will be the part two. The organization will be exactly the same, signing the same, so it shouldn't be a problem. I will send an email about that. The only question to all of you is that at the end of this series, you can ask me if you want another series or you want to wait for a week and start another series, because it's a series really about mostly how to become and improve yourself throughout time, and how to use philosophy, how to use arts, how to use psychology, how to use anything in order to get better. So that's this course is about hard choices, easy life, and recognize them. So when we go deeper into it, yeah, it will be easier to see the hard choices in action, and also to see hard choices in your own life. So you can recognize easy choice, and you will be able to make conscious choices to have the hard choice and to improve because of that. So wait for the email. I will send it, and also let me know what you think about 1 week into the cave and 1 week hard choices, or wait with the hard choices for longer. Just talk to me. So I want it to be this course, the course of the goodness, the course of liking each other. So I want you to start maybe talking to each other, and then and be kind. So what I'm asking is community that is caring community, and that is another virtue that we have opportunity to learn or to even deepen. So let's go to the day one. Day one, it was very intense day. I introduced a lot of things like self-control. I introduced virtue, use the hard choices, gratification. So a lot of information was passed on. So it's still probably difficult to capture the idea of self-control and virtues as a representation of every human being at every time, and the happy body as a core opportunity to improve those two because of it, because of the engagement. I engaged the first two to let you know, to bring you closer to awareness and about this issues of virtues and self-control and being that way. I talk about Groundhog Day, and to visualize, to help you to feel, and to see the same thing in your life, and maybe the same thing you can do to yourself, that you capture yourself actually doing something what happened in Groundhog Day. So there is definitely a transformation of a character, and very wide scope of that change, from the character that doesn't care to the character that cares, from the character that will take advantage of the other human being to the one that cares for everyone, from one that is bullied to the one that is kind. So that shift happened because of the of the integrity that is presented, and that integrity is the woman that is in the movie. And in order to really get or match that integrity, the person has to go through changes, and those changes happen throughout the movie. And there's very interesting also a message that goodness is inconvenient, that it stresses us and asks us for becoming better person, but at the same time it's easy not to. And when we are set in a way, it's very difficult for us to become the opposite of it. So there is a situation in a restaurant where they talk, and she talks about that she studied French poetry, and he laughs and says, "Oh, what a waste of time." And he catches himself that he did something wrong, right? And then next day, well, he is a friend. He knows about French poets, and then so on, so on. So that is the situation here. That the subtle situation that we are built of these believing systems too, that we make this assumption about something, and many times that this assumption are really painful to others, and put people down, and we use them because it's fun. It's kind of been entertaining and fun. So we don't see it as a big problem in life that actually shows us from a not a good perspective. So I would like to. So eventually, we see that this person, goes through changes and ends up that he matches that integrity. And of course, it takes years to match it, but he ends up to be with a beautiful woman, and with integrity and kindness and goodness. And you could see at the end of the movie that they have a wonderful future in front of them. And it happened because of that journey of that person toward this virtuous life. Well, why this Stoic idea is so elusive and hard to grasp, because that whole thing about virtues and goodness and self-control, maybe virtues and goodness, is not convenient, and we pick it. We don't want it. We reject it, and would rather to be sarcastic in life. Would rather to complain. Would rather to blame others and live in this this dark energy and negative energy. And because of that, of course, it's a lot of easier to go ahead in life and put people down and so on, but we cannot end up with high quality people. That's why I wrote that you cannot let me see. Me unmute this person. You cannot buy good people. They're the people that you have around, the people that you are. We always match. So the first thing would be to watch what kind of people are around you, and start exploring the possibility to increase your goodness. The Stoics, there is such a thing as a Stoic perfect, kind of a Stoic like Jesus or Buddha, some kind of uh, uh, energy that is an ultimate good, and that ultimate good is there, and we all go through life, and we either have this progress toward that, or we don't have it at all. We just waste our time on the Groundhog Day to get stuck in the same day without any messages and ideas, and doing something in the present moment that actually would help us to become better over time. That's why, in the Happy Body, I constantly address that issue of becoming better over time and how we actually uh, create that. And in this, the course Into the Cave, I will be talking a lot about that. So I would like to hear your insights and your comments or whatever you want to say about Groundhog Day, watching the movie, and all what happened the last day, and then what is it that you would like to share? Anybody?
I'm reluctant to begin, Jersey, because I began yesterday, but
That's okay.
I don't want to be greedy or waste anyone else's time. But I did all the assignments. I thought they were incredibly centering, especially. Well, they all had different reasons for centering. But I'll just talk about values so somebody else can talk. For me, the values exercise, writing down what we value, was really really eye-opening to me, because just as you were describing a man who was not a good man and couldn't attract a good woman until he became a good man, and who put down his sarcasm and put down his belittling of others, I found when I was writing about my values that these were things that were like gold. They are very, very valuable,
Right? Yeah.
and that I need to honor these things in every day and in every in person I engage with, and in myself. So thank you for asking us to reflect on what we really value. It was really cool.
All right, welcome. Great, thank you.
Here.
Okay.
Jersey, one of the things that I was thinking about when you were talking yesterday was that balance is one of my core values. And I work with a school that tries to have character and values as the reasons that we run the school. And balance is something that we tried to put into our mission statement because it's so important in life. And I feel like a lot of what you're talking about with hard choices, easy life is really a lot about balance. You work hard, play hard. I wrote down that if you put a lot of weight on certain priorities, you have to give a lot of weight to the actions that you take to make those priorities happen. And it all has to balance out. So you have to expect to put in the effort if you want to get out something good.
Right. So yes, of course, the balance is very interesting word, because I see this balance between the self-control and engagement on the physical and the virtues, and the balance between these two entities. And you can see how the hard choice is presented, or easy choice in Groundhog Day was of course presented with becoming a better person, right? It was a hard choice, but easy was to outsmart everyone, and we have a lot of people around, right? They want to outsmart us. So it is important to start seeing that consciously, so you can see people around that really they want to simply outsmart you. And then that is just the easy choice of a person to um, to play this possibility for that person to shine in the community. And sometimes, you know, they shine, and it's really hard to uproot them, to remove them from, you know, the community, or, you know, give them the signs that something is off. You know, the person should get the signs, messages to correct himself or herself. But we don't give the messages, and because we don't give the messages, these people thrive in the world and also get lost, because you know, it's not really fun to be that person, and eventually that person crashes in life, and then that therefore, you know, we are all in the world, and we are all should create this possibility for others to get better. And so if the people are like that, we should tell them, give them messages. Hey, what you said is wrong, or what you did was not right, you know, and on and on and on. So this correction of standards have to be on daily basis between people, and they are there. But you know, I think that maybe we need to have them more, so that that balance is restored. You know, it's like when you think about bullies, right? So um, we don't have really a system in schools or everywhere else that would help the bullies not to be bullies. First of all, tell every bully whenever the bullies that they, whenever the situation happens, tell the one that that's what happens, right? But we don't have that system. We have avoidance system. We don't want to. We don't know how to deal with it, really. I don't know how to simply, you know, address this issues. So we are still growing, you know, growing up as a society that is not transparent. It's really difficult for us to create transparency and develop this transparency. And here is the happy body too, right? And complete transparency when it comes to standards, and pursue yourself on that journey and improve those standards over, you know, course of your life. And that's how it's supposed to be, but it's a really hard choice. But that hard choice comes, you know, to the end with greatness, with integrity, with goodness. But that choice needs time, and needs delayed gratification, needs patience. And then when it's given, so we somehow also need to develop, because if we don't have it, we can easily miss it. So we have to talk and more about that possibility. Yes, definitely schools, and definitely schools, and balance, and you know, we have to really work on schools, because that's where our new people, that's the people that they are coming in, how they are coming in, right? You know, are they coming with the same experiences of being bullied and stressed and put down, right? Or even, you know, experience to put somebody down, it's not a good experience either. It's nobody really benefits from it. So it's just, you know, but when a virtue happens, we really benefit from it. We really get better. We really express something that is attractive. It's attractive in the world. And of course, there will be people that will hate that, but there will be a lot of people that will love that and will, you know, lean toward that. So thank you. Anything else you want to add?
I
All right.
this is a really interesting. I it's difficult not to get emotional because this program has been really challenging. Just even what are my values, and that's a question that's come up before in my life, and I think to myself, whoa, I don't even know what that would mean in my life. But with the whole practice of transparency, and yesterday you said, well, get ready to fail a lot when you start being transparent. It's like insane. I'm like, God, is it ever gonna get better? And then it's like every day, okay, let's try again, forgive yourself. And it's to the point where it has to be so like minuscule, you know, like hard choices, easy life. I was thinking about it and what that means for me and how I can show up for myself with that virtue. And it really is just when I say I'm gonna show up. Like, okay, I showed up, you know, like celebrate that, because I don't know. Sorry, this is really
That's okay. Well,
tough.
that's what's supposed to happen, right? So, you know, you need to embrace no expectation idea. Means that, you know, it's really not important to think how it was. It is important to look at it how it is, and day by day, like you said, make it a little bit better. And that's it. You know, forget about where is it going really and how it was. Just focus on that present moment. And that present moment will create a different present moment. And when you go into the present moment, when you add a little bit in that day, you choose to, you know, to override the impulse that is wrong. It makes you, you know, worse. That you contribute to the overall, you know, goodness of yours over time. And that is extremely important. That's where micro progression system is. And that's where, you know, every day and every minute and every hour counts. That's why the whole idea people have 10,000 hours or whatever, right? You know, but when it comes to skill of living, we don't have it at all. We don't have any program how to live life, better life. There's no such thing. Yeah, I'm trying to look into that and approach that from my perspective, how I went through life, and I face a lot of hard choices in my life and easy choices as well. So it's not like there were um, hard choices only, a lot of hard choices, and I stood the ground. I didn't sell my soul in my life, and no matter how hard a hardship was in front of me, I would never compromise integrity. Not like that woman, right, in the Groundhog Day. What a beautiful character. Wow. And that character, so strong at the same time, so powerful and so strong, I would not compromise at all, right? And that we need those characters. We need these people. You know, we need to see those characters in life because it just simply helps us. Like Amy said, looking at herself, help her, right? And it should help really. You probably have a lot of goodness in you, and that you need to see it really. You need to see your kindness, that you care, and because that's your core values, and you have it, right? It's just to balance that, and it needs to happen, and work needs to happen on different levels. And we have a lot of different levels that we'll be talking. We have levels of feeling, we have levels of spirituality, philosophy, physical level, a lot of levels. And sometimes we're really good at one level, but not really great in the other one, and kind of get lost a little bit with our way of thinking. We get disappointed, and we actually act to be disappointed because any situation is okay. If that happens, it happens. We just need to get rid of it, um, our judgment on that, and embrace the day as it is, because it's a beautiful day. No matter what, you are there with yourself, and if you look at that your day with the from perspective of really looking as it is, and you have the chance to make it better, to develop different perspective. But if you exaggerate, you will never be able to make it. So you have to see yourself as you are. That's the only chance that you have. So the only way to see it, if you give up on, on the ideas of exaggerating of the future or covering up of your past, right?
Hey, Jersey,
Yeah.
can I add to what you said? When I wrote down the transparency of everything I did yesterday, I was feeling exactly like Eva Busta moves. And I was thinking of how much work I had ahead of me to do, and how, I was judging it. I should be so much further along. And when I wrote down everything, I color coded the things that were good and virtuous and helpful. And then I color coded these things that weren't good. And I realized I wasn't as bad as I thought. There were just as many good things I did in the day as things that weren't good for me. And so I'm just going to try little by little to make it all a pink color instead of pink and green. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Well, it's a micro progression system, right? However, your colors you put on, and however the progress you create, it cannot be really viewed from the perspective of days or weeks. It can only be viewed from perspective of years. So just relax, right, and take the journey. Take the journey of becoming a better person, and just keep working on it and keep working on it, and never forget about keep working on it. That's the whole thing. It's like on the happy body, you keep practicing and practicing, and in a year you're a little bit more flexible, and the next year passes, and then you feel a little bit stronger, and then third and fifth year passed, and then you just really feel really good in the movements, and you start liking the breathing and the calming down yourself, and 10 years pass, and then you even feel better about yourself, and then you have the system, you're more proud of yourself, what you are doing. So it's a micro progressive system that works here, and if it's missed, then you can get really bored very fast and reject the whole idea, or you push too fast and it will be too hard. So there are many ways why we stop doing the things that really could improve us, could make us better, like virtues, right? It's a very simple thing, right? And and it's so hard. Why is virtue so hard, right? But there are certain things that are really hard for us to control, like food, and the virtue of eating enough is a really virtue that is in Tao and in Buddhism and Catholicism and everywhere, wherever you reach, gluttony is not a good thing. But at the same time, we have fat priests, right, obese, and then we have obese monks and so on. So how this can happen? How these people can fail, here so badly? How they lose the self-control in just, simply the food. So we have Socrates, said, eat to live. Wow, eat to live. 2,500 years ago. He saw already how food is really hard on us, how difficult for us to control ourselves, and how that, turns into live to eat. We turn ourselves into machines, consuming things, and we become these consumers, and what's the consuming is the word is coming from destroying. That's the consuming. That's consuming, like fire consumes, right? So the word is really to destroy, consume. So from the spiritual point of view, how it happened is all these priests and all these monks missing the point of enough, of waste. That actually, when we do too much, we simply waste. We contribute to the wearing out of our planet. How does people miss that? And that's if those people miss that, it is the message how hard this is on all of us, to find the virtues, to be a virtuous person. Because we are not really getting a lot from a lot of people, these messages. So that's why it's so hard on us. It's just not many people, are that way. Graceful, I would say. And that's what my next movie will be. So next movie. Oh well, first I will I will talk about the movie. Let's go into the Shattered Glass, right? And Shattered Glass. Wow, what a movie, right? Here we have entertainer, right? Here we have somebody that should have transparency, somebody that should have all the integrity of a journalist and write facts. But easy choices for that one really presented. And he finds himself in the position of amusing others. He's an amuser. And then he finds that when he amuses others, they are just happy and lucky, and he can get away with all the lying and cheating and so on, right? And it goes on. It goes on. Like anything that is wrong and anything that is wearing us down, it contributes to eventually crash. And that one crashes at the end. At the end is seen that how he, was prone to the easy choices, how easy choices created hard life for him. Is very clear cut in the movie. So, it's another integrity situation. You have another journalist, Jack, that, stands by facts and stands by what he's supposed to be. The core value of that journalist is very clear for Jack, right? So, we have the situation here on the that one person chooses hard choices and and after 10, 20 years becomes this high quality, and the Czech eventually ends up to write, I think, for Times or some magazine that is Integrity magazine. Integrity again comes in, right? So here is the happy body, right? How would you really create easy choices in the happy body, right? Well, it's very easy to do, right? You eliminate time, you exercise sometimes, and you just compromise integrity of that thing that you cannot really match if you compromise it. So anyone wants to say something about that? I think you watched the movie, and anyone has anything to say? I mean, you're really prolific. I know you one thing you have to really look into that a lot of people like to watch, and it's okay that you talk so much, and it's okay. You don't have to really think about yourself that you're the only one. Other people will come.
Yeah, in fact, Simon just wanted to say something.
Yes, I was almost there, Amy. Firstly, thank you. I love the way that you break the ice, so thank you very much. And yes, your contribution, and also Karen's and Eva Bustamove is invaluable. So thank you very much. I certainly appreciate it in the group. Unfortunately, I couldn't see the movie. It's unavailable in my country, in Australia, which may be because we're too far away or something like that. However, I did read the synopsis of it, and it certainly was a guy making easy choices and ending up with a difficult life. And Jerzy, just what you were saying back then, I found really interesting, and it is interesting. It's often a roadblock when I introduce people to the happy body, which I'm sold on. I've been doing for a couple of years, and I'd say you've just got to do a series of exercises every day. And their first thing is, every day?
Right. Amazing, right? It's like people don't live every day.
That's right. I think people want are looking for a part-time system of living or something. I mean, you see, church is easy. You only have to go once a week.
Right.
Happy body, you have to do it every day, Jerzy.
Not good. Inconvenient. Inconvenient. It's funny.
Indeed. So I don't really have any insight into the movie because I didn't get to see it. Did see Groundhog Day, which was exactly as you expressed it. So, but I'd love to hear what someone else says about the actual movie. The story, I can certainly see why you applied that.
All right, thank you. Amy, you wanted to say something, right?
Well, I'm working out at the same time that I listen to you because that's what it used to be like when I hired you as my trainer. You would talk just like this while I was working out, and it absorbed.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, freaking awesome. I have nothing to add to the movie thing. I thought you captured the whole thing perfectly because I was like, why does Jerzy want us to watch this movie? And you explained it. So
I missed it.
You missed the movie?
I missed the explanation because I thought the movie sucked.
Oh, really?
Well, I thought that the character was disgusting. The fact, and so that made me feel like I don't like the movie because he was such a bad guy.
Well, it was, right. That's the point, that it showed the person that compromised integrity of a journalist. and also show the person that reverse really, because at the beginning that boy maybe was a good boy, right? And it's reverse action. What happened in Groundhog Day is a reverse here.
It
From
is.
the good to the bad. And
All
with,
right.
so
All right.
here you have the situation
right.
with the entertainment and facts, right? But integrity is still in the core of the movie.
I guess what I hate is a lack of integrity, and it made me, I hate that.
Well, it made you feel
Wrong.
some way, right? And it's supposed to feel you that way, because the feeling is important, that we have strong sickness when something is wrong, right? And
Right.
if we don't get that sickness, we are okay with something bad happen over and over and over, right?
Yes. But we're not, yeah, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm never okay with something bad happening over and over. And I guess I'm happy about that. But
Yeah.
it can be frustrating too,
Of course.
I mean, we could talk about a lot of things that happen over and over, but it's Janice. And I won't waste your time right now because your words are more valuable than mine.
No. We are all valuable here.
Well,
but it takes me to the another movie that we are going to watch. And you see, we're going from integrity from the first movie, creating integrity, in the second, losing integrity. But it's the second also we are getting into this, ill feeling about the character that becomes so that way, right? But it's also very, character that we need compassion to. That boy really loses completely and is unable to restore himself to the virtues meantime, right? So it happens that the whole environment loses that boy too. So the whole environment is not really picking up that he was lying, right? They just everything. They would say how we could miss that, right? That boy goes through the movie with just so much entertainment and fun and so on, right? And that happens, and that if that happens, it means that that really we need really better skills to recognize what happens. What is the language of micro-progressive language from the good to losing the integrity, or reverse, right? So I will talk to the about the book, the mastering, rest choices. Rest is really good, and how to we juxtapose the master and fatalist in life, and how to recognize the voice of the fatalist, and how to recognize the voice of a master. So I will introduce that book. So I will introduce things slowly, but the most important is that we engage in the conversation, we engage in the talk, and we engage in the meaningful and very strong, impactful moments and arts that make us uneasy. That's what the movie made you. That's supposed to be that way. We're supposed to really learn that feeling from watching that. But it could be that for many people they don't see it that way at all, right? So the movie attempts to open that feeling.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we go to the next feeling that I want you to be exposed to. In the next movie, it will be Amazing Grace.
Oh my God, I was watching it last night.
That's funny.
Is there anything more about that movie, like who is in it? Oh, sorry.
Amy, who is in it? I don't know the actors.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. There's another movie called Amazing Grace, which is a documentary about Aretha Franklin, which I highly recommend.
That's that Amazing Grace about the movie about England and getting rid of the slavery and a lawyer that pursued that journey and lost his, almost anybody on that road. So that is the movie that I want you to watch.
Bummer.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful movie. But I want you to get that movie because I want you to expose to one moment in that movie and a very meaningful thing that happens there. We have, a highly integrity human being there in the movie, fighting what is right. So it's a different movie, right? So now you have this virtuous person fighting like a superhuman with the whole system to change it, while everyone else, is okay with it. And slavery, we have slavery, right? This is the time in England where slavery is highly acceptable and convenient, right? It's convenient. As like we said, goodness is inconvenient. So the homework, a shattered glass. I want you to really think about news and facts, or about coronavirus, and look into the messages, the news. Where are the news, and where are the facts? So, so when you look when people talk about it, that would be entertainment, or it really delivers certain news, certain facts about that are really meaningful, or they are just repeating after others and they are creating talk about it. So news are only when the news happens, and not the news to something is repeated for the sake of talking between people. So when you expose yourself to news, you will expose yourself to the facts and transparency, and the whole system will not wear you out. Entertaining system that will create judgment, will create the blames, will create whining and complaining, and on and on and on, exaggeration and anxiety. All of it can go away if you stay with the facts. You have the chance to save yourself from all the time that you would spend, and now get into your own room and use the time for creating in that room better you. You have the breathing patterns of the happy body. I asked you about the breathing, right? Now you probably did. You're getting better with it, calming yourself down. Now ask you about the time. So use now the third element, about the kind of food that you are eating. You just look through the day and write down what is a good food or bad food. It's like you go into virtues of your own self, and you go there to recharge yourself. But you can also go to recharge yourself that you eat good food, or do you exercise every day? That's how we recharge our energy.
Jerzy, can I ask you a question
Right.
on the news portion, because I've stopped watching the TV news. I've stopped watching a lot of things. I get my 2 newspapers a day, and I read those to try and stay up. But to your point, so much of the news is not that's on TV is not reporting the news. It is expressing opinions about possibly what might be happening or what might not be happening. And unfortunately, even on the sports side of things, I used to love to watch ESPN Sports Center and all of that other kind of stuff. And until it dawned on me that 98% of what was being talked about was not news. It was potentially things that might happen, who might win the game, why they might win it, et cetera, all of which can be a lot of fun and do things, but it's also highly distracting. And I'm just curious as how do you try to filter some of that out of your own life?
Well, I get news from people. I don't watch news. The last time I watched news was maybe 73, 74. So that was the last time that I watched news. I don't watch news. People give me news. People brought me coronavirus, talk to me about this. So I really you don't need to watch because it's so little news out there in the world, right? The next news is when we have therapy drug, right? And what kind is that? And then when we come out of the quarantine, right? And return to business, right? These are the only news. And it will happen in the next 3-4 months. These are important facts for us. And then everything else is really not important and not necessary. You're right, 95%. What I would do with 95% of that, of the time, right? I focus on, on the work. I focus on my writing. I focus on the things that they have the power to create better me over time. So you have certain things, like I said, certain books and certain movies, they don't have that power at all. But there is like entertainment doesn't have a power to make you better over time. It means that it really doesn't matter how many hours you watch it. It really doesn't matter for how many years you watch it. It's not going to do anything good for you over time, nothing. That's what is called entertainment. But when you look into facts, then they can do something. Or the works that they are very challenging, the works that like books and arts that, you can return over and over and over. Like to Groundhog Day, that movie I can watch over and over and over. And so there's a huge message in that movie, right? Amazing Grace too. There are certain movies, but most movies don't have it at all. Most movies you wouldn't like to even watch second time. So focus on those things, and the books or movies are also people. I have books that I keep reading for 30, 40 years. The same book, and I'm rereading that book. I'm rereading that. Why I'm rereading that book over and over? Because it's still making me, different perspectives. So Zen saying is for that, before enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. So, okay, so what happens here? What happens is, when you change, you have different perspective, but you do the same thing. That thing that creates a challenge for us, that changes our perspective about the things, gives us different insights. Like reading the same poem for thousands of times can create that. But not every poem. Some poems you cannot even read second time, but some of them you can read thousands of times. So you see, there are certain people are like that too. To be around them, they create constant growth, constant inspiration, constant motivation and drive towards something that you will, do. You get insight around them. You go home and you have insights what to do. You have insights how you want to write something or do something, change something, say something. It's amazing. So you can lose all of it, that pursuit, because of entertainment that is completely useless. It is sometimes maybe, have fun a little bit, but doesn't contribute to anything to us. That's why, we should work and then have a little bit entertainment, and we should know it's entertainment. And very select that entertainment to maybe 30 minutes a day, right? Okay, I will have some fun, I want to see how they talk about something there. And that's it, but very selective. Because it's just a little
Thank
bit
you.
better, right?
Mhm.
You're welcome. So you wrote from virtues, I understand. Anybody wants to read a sentence? About the hard choices in your life and first day, I understand, and finish that sentence. No?
Jersey?
Yes.
So maybe not reading this, but just from hearing Charles now and your argumentation writing, because the home office somehow got me really sucked into this news, entertainment, and stories about Corona. And writing down the virtues yesterday, I really promised myself I'll not give a second anymore to any weird news on Corona or anything in the next weeks, that I now have time to work on myself. And it worked. Suddenly this need I have to look at it, I have to check New York Times, I have to check whatever journal you want. It went away just by writing down the virtues. So thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. Well, that's great. Thank you. Well, it's funny how you put that news really and seeing it and deciding not to. It's a kind of a building up process in us, right? But the one thing is about that don't look at that as news. Look at that entertainment and facts. Because real news is facts, right? So news is a good thing, right? But it's supposed to be facts. On the facts, there is a lot of huge entertainment of 95% or 99% of the time that is just about this news. Real news is facts. That's what it's about. That, some stations, 20, 30 years ago were about news. And I will not say the name because they will be suing me or something, destroying me. But these stations turned themselves in 90s into entertainment. Started competing with entertainment and became entertainment. And we lost the news. It was the news in the 80s. A lot of news. Now we have a lot of entertainment. It's kind of like stations became like host of the show, right? They just talk about it. So don't get attracted to that. But news is a good thing. Look for facts, but meaningful facts. They're important for you. This is the news. Everything else doesn't have any power of news at all, and it's not useful for us. So there is no reason even to watch that. Why, right? So if that doesn't change over time, make you better over time, it's just taking your time, and the time, like Seneca, said in the first really letter, right? Time is all we got. Time we got for free. We were giving time to be here. And that time, we should do everything not to waste. All right, you get your homework. Anyone wants to say something? Thank you. Thank you. Before we close. All right. Thank you. Thank you all for today. And see you tomorrow. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you.
Bye, Jersey. Love you.
Love you. Love you too.
Stay safe, everybody. Wear your masks.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye.
You can watch the Facebook on Jersey Gregory because there are 2 horses, iron horses in Woodside with masks, and I made a picture. It's like it's such a cute, thing to do. It's very playful.
Wait, are we writing about the virtues? Are we journaling or?
Yes, yeah. We said it. We are writing about the hard choices in life from the perspective I think. And we are watching the movie, and we are also looking at news and trying to recognize where are the facts and where is about news.
Okay.
So whatever you watch, you look and ask yourself a question: is it news or is it talk about something? What was news before?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Eva Busta Moves.
Right.
I think it's Bustamante, but ask her.
What was that?
I think it's Bustamante. It's a common Spanish name, last name.
Oh, I see.
I think.